now Nate and Corey. Here we go. Back with another Four Seasons football board. And now Nate and Corey.
Well, there we go. Hi, we're back. We're here. I fucked up the AI intro. I don't really care.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of Boy. Yeah. Boy. Welcome to another episode of Boy Meets Football. Huh? You get it? Boy Meets Football over here?
Is Topanga playing?
Yeah. I think Topanga is playing. Let's be honest.
All right.
I think Topanga's making all the money. Let's be honest. Here we go. Hi. How's it going? My name's Corey. That's Nate. Welcome to Four Seasons Football. We skipped a week and we're back. I feel like we missed anything. I think we're fine. It's fine. It's all fine.
Yeah, nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, what really happened last week? No, nothing. Nobody cares, right?
Nothing that isn't superseded by what happened this week.
Got people in our chat cheering us on. You got this. Let's go. That kind of shit, right? Pretty fun.
Thank God I need the encouragement.
I know, fucking right, dude. Doing this during the day and mildly sober, I don't know if I can handle it, man. It's a completely different. A lot of pressure, a lot of fucking pressure.
Well, during the day at least.
Yeah. Hi, welcome to fucking Four Seasons Football. How the hell are you, Nate? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I feel like you're more affected by my displaced schedule than I am, so I feel bad every time we miss a week. I feel like in my head, I know you, and I know it's not true, but in my head, you're just like that little orphan standing outside watching people eat dinner when you're not able to record one of these. Just like, I want to do my podcast, guys.
11 o'clock on Thursday has passed.
Oh, what will I do podcast now? No, I guess I'll watch another King Kong movie. Aww.
Godzilla -1.
Yeah, is that any good? Everybody keeps telling me about it.
I got like 15 minutes in and stopped it. I'm gonna go back.
Yeah, like one of those where you're too. I do that all the time where I'm like, oh, this is supposed to be good, and then I started and I'm too sleepy. And then I just fall right asleep.
Subtitles, and I like to watch something I don't really care about while doing other things.
Hard pass.
That's not conducive.
Hard pass. All right. Well, all right. So this is kind of interesting, and we didn't really talk about this. So I feel like this is a good time as any. We're getting to the point now where the news cycle is actually more NFL than UFL, and I'm kind of excited. I like the UFL. I love the fans we've gained. I love that you guys like it. I really do enjoy the UFL, but if I'm honest, Daddy's getting excited about the NFL, baby.
Yeah. Did you see those all-white Vikings jerseys?
Oh, you mean those Cowboy jerseys? I fucking hate them.
It's not Cowboys. It's purple, not blue.
I mean, it's such a dark purple, and the way that it looks like a Cowboy jersey to me, and I hate them. I mean, are you a fan of them? Is that what we're? You know what? Fuck it. We will start out on some hardcore Vikings. They don't look clean. It's the Vikings. You're not allowed to not have a purple helmet. There has never been a single uniform in our franchise history that didn't have a purple helmet. Hate it.
My only problem with it is they called them Winter Warriors, and we've been in a dome for 40 years.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Like I said, they look like fucking Penn State banged the Cowboys. Like that's what that jersey looks like to me.
I think more like the Cowboys.
It just seems
Penn State.
It just seems unoriginal. Like that's my biggest problem. But I'll tell you this honestly, when I went to go look at I don't know if you looked at these, but have you seen some of the other alternate jerseys? Like I was real mad about it, and I was like kind of arguing with people online about it until I went and looked at some of the other ones. Like if you want to look at an absolute eyesore, and here's a fun thing that you guys can go look up the Giants red uniform. You know what I'll do? I know there's people watching at home, like on the thing here. I will bring it up. Have you seen these red uniforms, dude?
No, I saw a news bit that the Giants are going to be wearing them when they face the Vikings week 1. But I haven't seen the jerseys themselves.
They are just atrocious, dude. I mean, it's so bad. Here, I'll even
well, like Pittsburgh's Bumblebee throwbacks and the Packers like brown.
Did you know I'm scared? Did you know I'm scared?
I mean, it could definitely be worse.
Did you know I'm scared of bees, right? I don't know if you knew this or not, but I've got like a mild fear of bees, right? I can't even look at that Pittsburgh uniform and not get scared of that. Here, I'll put it on. I'll put it on for. Let's do a nice visual aid for everybody listening on audio. Look, if you're not watching live, there's nothing I can do, but you just Google Giants red alternate uniforms and they'll get you there. They are the ugliest thing I've seen in my life. It's not even that the jerseys are that ugly. It's like they have these like weird tan like 49er pants that go with them for some reason.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
Like isn't that the ugliest thing you've ever seen in your life?
Yeah. Why throw that third color in?
Right, like if it's just okay. So first off, I don't really like the first layer. And again, if you're watching, you know what I'll do actually is I will put the picture on one of the pictures of the description for the podcast, so that people that are just listening on Spotify can like click on it and see it, so they don't have to do any busy work. But let me tell you, this is one of the ugliest things I've seen in my life. I mean, it's ridiculous because the top is already pretty ugly, if we're being honest, right? Like red, white, and blue, but like somehow your helmets look like a blood splatter. It looks like somebody headbutted a fucking like cardinal. You know what I mean? Like, and killed it. Like they were literally
Fist of the
headbutting.
North Star.
Oh yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of a little bit.
But yeah, why not go white pants when you got white as the third color on the jersey?
Or hear me out on this: blue, white, or red. What are the other colors on the fucking jersey?
Yeah.
Like that's atrocious. Like there's no, I mean, it's not even that like they're that ugly. They are. It's the pants. The pants make it the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. And so after I spent a very, very unsatisfying amount of time arguing online, because you know what happens when you argue online with people, you always change their minds.
Yeah.
After that, yeah, it was real bad. I mean, it just, again, it was bad. But anyways, I digress. Other really big NFL news, Justin Jefferson, highest paid non-quarterback in history. Pretty rad.
Yeah, 4-year, $140 million extension,
And I'm
$35 million a year.
I'm glad they did that, because I'm telling you, it's one of those like Kirk Cousins things where like coming up, everybody's going to get paid that. So we actually made a little bit of money, in my opinion, by getting it done before all that. And I really liked everything I read online about the conversations that they had, because apparently there were a lot of people trying to get Jefferson from us, like suitors, you know, and the Vikings
the 49ers, which doesn't make any sense, but
say that again.
Yeah, including the 49ers.
Yeah, that's weird. Like,
yeah,
one, like with what money, dude? Like, I love the Niners too, you know, my second team, but like, man, I just like with what money, dude? Like, shut the fuck. You can't even afford to play Brandon Ayuk. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you know what I mean? Like. You're not
getting rid of both Ayuk and Debo. Apparently.
You're not getting rid of Debo Samuel. Here, you want to know a hot take? I don't know if I've ever told you this. And again, if you're here for just UFL stuff, look, man, I get it. We'll get to our UFL coverage, but it's called Four Seasons Football. It's not called UFL Football, so you can calm the fuck down. All right. I'm already attacking these imaginary haters, Nate. It's going to be one of those days. I can already tell.
I mean, get in front of it, you know.
Well, it's just, you know, look, I know there's people that really like the UFL, and we'll cover it. We missed a week of the UFL, and I don't really care. I'm sorry. I know, like, I like the UFL. I watched it, but, like, does anybody care about anything but the playoffs or, like, the fucking sweet-ass awards that are coming out? No. It's starting to be NFL time, guys. And this is, like, look, we love the UFL here. We do. I love the UFL. Battlehawks cause the law, but, you know, NFL, don't ask me to choose between the Vikings and anything else. They can't win. You can't win.
No. I mean, welcome to the big leagues, right?
Right. But, like, more importantly, Skull Horn, baby. Yeah, and I don't know. I spent a lot of time yesterday, like I said, arguing over those jerseys. And then I Googled the Giants one and immediately felt way better. And, yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
I'm looking forward to seeing them on the field.
I don't like the idea of us having a white helmet. I just don't. I never liked the idea of it. I think, like, we're one of the only teams that, like, our helmet didn't change throughout all of our renditions, and I just think that's fun. You know, that's a cool franchise thing to me.
Yeah. I mean, they shifted the color around a little bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I mean, they had the whiteout that had the purple, the light purple, like, things, 2 years ago, and people were bitching about that. Oh, it should be all white. It should not. It's trash. Again, it just looks like the Dallas Cowboys to me, but whatever. I think maybe I just hate the Cowboys that much that if I see anything that resembles them, I'm like, fuck this.
I can understand it for sure.
Might be biased if I'm honest. But again, at least it's not that fucking Giants thing, but whatever. All right, so let's hop into the UFL, I guess. Unless do you have any more NFL stuff you want to talk about? Because we will do the NFL at the front of this episode. I don't give a fuck.
I've got some NFL news for sure. Normally we'll keep that for the end. Do you want to run through that now?
No, absolutely not. We're doing the news segment. We do news at the front end, and usually that's UFL news, but you know what? I'm calling a fucking audible, dude. Omaha podcast. Omaha. We're doing it. You know what? We're leading off with the NFL stuff, just getting people used to the fact that the NFL stuff is coming. I don't care. I will pull ranks, motherfucker.
All right, we'll get through the NFL news first, then move on to all UFL. Other news, the Texans signed Nico Collins.
That's interesting.
To a 3-year contract extension worth $72 million.
Dude, that Texan team is going to be sneaky good this year. I mean, I don't even know how sneaky it is. Everybody knows how good CJ Stroud is, but I mean, they are.
They made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, but
don't
I
think
mean,
it
like they're
beat
gonna.
anymore.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying, like those guys might make a deep run.
Yeah.
might be-
Well, and adding, the third receiver in Diggs
Yeah.
should be damn interesting. Also, Danielle Hunter. Yeah.
What is Buffalo doing? Are they just nuking their team? They're like, we're in a rebuild now.
Not as much as the Chargers are, but a semi-rebuild. I think they're trying to get, since they can't get the cheap rookie quarterback contract, they're going to try and fill in the skill position players with those cheap replacements.
I just think Josh Allen isn't the guy, man. I get his talent level is apex, but like all I do is watch Josh Allen throw away games that they have won with his own bullshit. Like it honestly reminds me of a more talented Jake Plummer. That's what he reminds me of.
Or a less talented Favre.
Yeah, or a less talented Favre. I will also take that. Yeah, I mean it's that gunslinger shit, you know. But he makes real dumb mistakes, you know. Like I don't know that you can even call him Favre or Plummer because I don't know that I've ever seen them fumble like that. I've seen interceptions for sure. But like just bonehead fumbles, I don't know that I've seen like snapback fumbles out of those guys that often. I mean, it happens obviously, but
well, and if he had like a DeAndre Hopkins in his prime or a Tyreek Hill, a receiver that can absolutely bail them out of those ugly deep throws, he'd have a little more luck. But Diggs wasn't quite there, and that's the best he's seen.
Well, fuck Diggs. Like I can't abide by him. It might just be my own hatred of him as a Viking fan, but I can't abide by him. I'll never forget, man. I'll never forget that game. The Vikings were winning, and he was throwing a tantrum because he didn't get the ball enough.
Yeah, he's a diva.
Like I can't if the team's losing and you're bitching about that, I'm fine with that. Do that all the time. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Because that's what a champion should think. Like, oh, we wouldn't be losing if I was getting the ball. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I get that.
Doing what's not working and start giving me the ball that will work.
Right. Like I get that, you know? But like to complain and bitch and moan when your team's winning because you're not getting the touches you want, like that's just bitch shit, you know? Like I can't abide by that.
And it was a different era, but like Moss wasn't going out to the public and talking shit.
But even Moss, I never saw
tweets.
Moss. I never saw Moss talk shit about getting the ball when we won. I saw him do it when we lost.
Yeah.
I never once saw him whining about not getting the ball on a win though. And that's, to me, that's a big important thing. I don't know. Like if you're gonna, like, I don't know, man. You should want your team to win over your own personal stats. Otherwise you're a prick.
Yeah.
Because who cares? You know, like.
And despite being paid like crazy, he continues to just be a diva.
Right. He's just a bitch. And it's fine. I mean, like, I don't think he'll ever win a championship. And there'll be nobody on this planet happier about that than me.
Well, this year might be his best shot.
Yeah,
but
maybe
we said that about his first year in Buffalo, too.
Yeah, until he doesn't get the ball the way he wants to. He starts crying about it then, too.
Yeah.
What else? What other signings and news do we have in the NFL?
Miami signed Jalen Waddle.
Oh, really?
To a 3-year, $85 million extension.
Okay.
Which puts him in the top 5.
I was going to say, that seems like a lot for him, but...
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the biggest stretch of the receivers that have been signed this year. But, I mean, just like Jefferson, give that
Well, that's why I like the Jefferson.
And it's not going to feel like that much.
Well, and that's why I like the Jefferson contract. You know, it's like when Cousins got his money, everybody's bitching. It's like, yeah, but like the next 2 quarterbacks that sign, it's not going to be like that. And if the Vikings had dragged their heels, then everybody that got that money, they're going to have to pay even more. You know, this way they got to set the. I really like the fact that we did it real early like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a jump because the other highest paid receivers in the league are making basically 30 a year. He jumped all the way to 35.
Yeah, but that jump, I mean, like if you wait a few more months, that jump, or like an extension or something, that jump's gonna be 40 easy.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, those guys are up pretty much now. I mean, if we had waited for them to step the market
Samuel's
at
up pretty
33,
soon. I mean, there's a lot of big names that are up pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm totally content getting that done at 35.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
All right. Otherwise, the Jets signed Tariq Cohen to a 1-year deal.
That's
He's
interesting.
the Bears' old back, the shifty pass catching back. He's been out of the league for like 3
I was gonna say, I thought that guy
years
retired
because of injuries.
Oh, he's just
I mean,
injured.
he got beat the hell up, and just every time he was starting to put something together, broke something badly. So I'm thrilled to see him get one more shot. I don't know just how well it's gonna go or how much he's got left in the tank, but love to see the opportunity.
Who's the other running backs they have there? They've got some other guys, right?
Breece Hall is the big one.
Yeah.
second-year guy. But, I mean, yeah, Tariq Cohen can be...
I mean, their fate
in
just
on
seems to
third
be
downs
if
or-
Rodgers will stay healthy or not. That just seems to be their fate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if they, you know, and I think
It's
people
all
forget
hinging on the
how
old man.
stacked people forget how stacked that roster actually was last year because they lost Rodgers right away like that. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like Burrow. I think people are really sleeping on the Bengals this year. You know what I mean? They're acting like, oh, Bengals aren't even on the fucking precipice. It's like, no, man. They like Burrow's was hurt. They made him play hurt, and then he got injured more.
Yep, I mean, so many teams, though. If the quarterback is healthy, things could go well.
Yeah,
If
I
he's
mean, of
not,
course.
it's over.
Yeah, the old if the quarterback game.
Yeah. See, otherwise, the Niners re-signed Juwan Jennings to a 2-year, $10 to $15 million deal.
Yeah.
Just getting, well, which it seems like they're getting ready to let go of probably Ayuk. So
I think
I'm assuming
Ayuk
they're
is the
just
guy.
making
Well, they
sure
have
that-
to let go of Ayuk. Ayuk's the guy they got to let go of. Like the thing about the Niners, and this is something that I don't like to admit to people, but I like if I'm called out on it, but I will admit it in this podcast while analyzing, right? Is if you take away Deebo Samuel from that, they're just a big one threat fly wide receiver offense. You know what I mean? So like they have to have Samuel there to have their identity of like all the gadget plays and keep people guessing.
Yeah.
They don't have to have Ayuk there. They just, you know what I mean? Like, I would like him. I love Ayuk. I'm not trying to talk shit about him, but he's not a necessary piece. They're not, like, they will do everything they can to make sure that, like, they have to have Deebo. They have to keep him, right? And, like,
Right. Whereas Ayuk is really good at what he does.
right.
A replacement could do a much better job of his job than they could
Correct.
have Deebo's.
Because what he's doing is just your classic, like, out slot. You know what I mean? There's nothing that he's doing that's revolutionary. I mean, you look at that, you've got like the tight end, you've got the running back, and you've got the wide receiver with and they like, I mean, Ayuk's just kind of bonus on there, you know, like he's good and I like him and I will hate to see him go, but it's the right choice.
Yeah. Let's see. Speaking of the Niners, Christian McCaffrey has reset the running back market yet again. Signs a 2-year extension with the Niners, averaging $19 million per year.
God damn it. I'm not even mad, but it's just so much money, you know?
It is, but I mean, he's the best back in the league.
Yeah, and he's been the best back in the league for years.
Yeah, but not too many years, luckily.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's whatever.
Otherwise, Chiefs re-sign Mecole Hardman. Just getting some serviceable receiver back on their roster with all the shit they've been going through.
They got that Xavier kid they drafted. He's going to be real good.
If he can stay out of jail, like Sidney Wright.
I mean, yeah, it's true. Their starting
sure,
lineup
right?
might be in jail. That's fair.
Yeah. Otherwise, Bucks signed Sterling Shepard, and it's just another receiver on the team. Antonio Brown declared bankruptcy
Awesome.
after burning I think it was like $80 million that he earned in his career.
I think it might even be more than that. That guy made a bunch.
Could have been, it would have been 40 million more if he just shut his mouth in Oakland or rather, wherever the Raiders were at the time.
I think they were still in Oakland at that point.
3 more days. If he'd shut the fuck up for 3 days, he would have gotten.
How do you feel about
$40
him as a
million.
Raiders guy? Like,
I mean, Raiders have been such a circus for so long. I got that one hurt though. Like them bringing AB, it looked like things were on the up and up, and then he just totally falls apart in the offseason, just collapses, like freezes his foot, and then starts talking shit about Gruden. And yeah, got himself.
that's right,
kicked
that
off.
foot freeze thing. I forgot all about that foot freeze thing.
Yeah, just a jackass. And that was kind of like, I mean, he did some chirping in Pittsburgh, but that was the first real sign of him totally unraveling.
Yeah, I feel like he might have always been unraveling, but like people around him kept it kind of like close to the vest, you know? Because it seemed like once
Tomlin
Gruden
just
was
keep
out
it
there,
under
it got like
wraps.
real bad.
Yeah. In retrospect, super hilarious to look back on. At the time, I was not thrilled.
Yeah, no, it's a funny thing to look back on for sure. It's kind of like the Herschel Walker trade. It doesn't hurt as much when you're laughing at it in retrospect.
Yeah, given 35 years, whatever it is.
Uh-huh. All right.
All right, let's see. The Commanders release Brandon McManus, thanks to his plain-born sexual assault allegations.
Well, you know, that'll happen.
And they signed former Brahmas kicker Ramiz Ahmed.
which I believe is the first starting position signing of a UFL guy so far.
Yeah, for the year at least.
I was surprised nobody went at Jake Bates yet, you know? Not, I mean, we'll get to that, but it's not that surprised.
Yeah. And then last bit of NFL news is the Bears were selected for Hard Knocks.
Oh my God, shut the fuck up. Is that real?
Yeah.
Oh
Which
my
is
God,
pretty
that's
phenomenal.
awesome.
Like that.
That is
They bring in
awesome.
all these new weapons. They
Yeah.
bring in Caleb Williams.
And watching Caleb Williams cry as he gets benched on HBO, I cannot wait, dude. I want to see his tears in high definition.
Yeah.
That's
First time he gets owned by
amazing.
the Packers.
Well, but I mean, he already got benched in camp. Like, that's hilarious.
It's awfully early, but
Well, yeah,
one way or
I
the
mean,
other. It's
but
gonna be
and
super
also a lot of the
entertaining.
times those benchings are just like a show the rookie attitude benchings, you know.
Yeah.
But dude, that's pretty good. So when does Hard Knocks start?
August sometime.
Okay. So then you got to take them off your playoff pool, because isn't it no team on Hard Knocks has ever even made the playoffs, let alone won?
Dang, is it really?
Yeah, it's something like that. They call it like the Hard Knocks. It's like the Madden curse. I don't know if it's the playoff, but they like whatever team has them, because it was the Jets last year. Like it's whatever
Yeah.
team has them, like they don't do well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. Hey, as a Viking
The
fan, do
Bears
that.
are awful. We got a slightly better shot.
Yeah, do that. I'm down. I mean, you're not gonna make me mad about that, you know?
No, sir. All right, into UFL news.
Sure. We got what? Hakeem Butler named UFL Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
We got
And well deserved.
Michigan's
He was a
Panther
machine.
defensive end Braylon Speaks named UFL Defensive Player of the Year.
And yeah, 9.5 sacks through 10 games.
Pretty
That's
good,
a phenomenal year.
And it sounds like they didn't announce it yet, but it sounds like Martinez will be the MVP. I fully expect that to happen if it hasn't happened already. When I was doing some legwork, it didn't feel like it was announced yet. So
Nope, didn't see that announced yet.
I'm sure it will be though. I mean, I'm positive that's going to be what it is.
Yeah, it's got to be.
You would think. So what other
And-
UFL news you got?
So Mike Nolan named Coach of the Year for the Panthers,
Okay.
which it's kind of a toss-up between he and Wade Phillips in my mind. You know, generally it's
I don't
always going
know.
to be.
I think you got to give it to
the
that
team
Stallions guy. I mean, that dude's like lost one game like his entire coaching career at this point. It's crazy.
Right, but Coach of the Year is always who took a bad team and improved them.
Yeah, but I don't know. The Brahmas were that bad of a team last year. I mean, it's hard to say because of the way they redraft. See, that's my problem is they redrafted a lot of the teams, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to say who was bad or worse. Like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the Brahmas, you could argue, were coached above their ability, but I mean, I don't know, man. Like, you look at the Stallions guy, like, how many coaches have you seen, like, no, we're going to keep going with our guy, but instead, once Martinez proved he was the guy, he didn't really go back to Coral again, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, for Nolan, the Panthers were down to their fourth quarterback at one point this year, and
Yeah,
they're
I don't mind Nolan at all. I don't mind that at all.
8-2 and where they are.
Yeah. I
So,
think,
yeah,
they
I mean,
had,
I
I
would've-
think they had a great season, all things considered.
Any of those three, I would have been totally fine with.
Sure.
Yeah. And then the all UFL offensive defensive teams were announced. There were a couple of snubs that I wanted to mention.
Snub it up.
So Jontre Kirkland was not one of them. Marcus Sims beat out Jontre Kirkland for one of those wide receiver slots.
That's weird.
Sims had 23 receptions. Kirkland had 56.
Yeah, dude.
Sims had 426 yards. Kirkland had 614.
Kirkland's where you go
and
when
they
you want to
both
get
had
in
three
bulk,
scores.
dude. That's a Costco joke, by the way.
But yeah, ridiculous snub there. And then the other one was they went with Sternberger for the tight end rather than Canella.
What?
And Canella's got
Wait, that's real? Canelo's the only
Yeah.
tight end I know in the UFL.
it's 25 receptions to 53,
That's crazy.
454 yards to 497, and 4 touchdowns to 6. Canella leads him in all fucking stats.
Who voted on this shit?
No idea.
So we can get a command center review and watch that, but not the fucking recount on these votes. I see how it is.
Oh yeah. And let's see. So news for like actually pertinent for the week. Danny Etling is starting for the Panthers this week. So EJ Perry is not back yet. And then for the Brahmas, it looks like Dormity's going to be starting. I haven't seen the depth chart for the Sunday game yet, but it looked like Cookus was going to be, or rather, Garbers was going to be out.
Okay. Yeah, well, Garbers looked like he was out too. We'll talk about that when we get to the game. But like, that other guy looked, Dormandy looked all right too. I mean, we'll talk about that more when we get to the games here. But yeah, and then UFL news?
Yeah, last bit would be there's 3 players who are getting looks from the NFL. So David Davis, wide receiver for the Showboats, is expected to sign with the Panthers. So that's already pretty much done.
Okay.
Davis is going to be a Panther.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
And then defensive end Malik Fisher is going to be working out with the Ravens. And Renegades linebacker Story Jackson already worked out with the Broncos.
And I imagine those names will get more towards the people we know once the season's, because right now it's just like they're the people that are really signed are the people that are out of the playoffs,
Right. So yeah, I'm sure those are going to be increasing in the next week or two here.
You would think.
But already players are starting to get some looks from the UFL with the NFL.
Which is cool.
I mean, it's why they're out there, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole like fundamental charter of the whole thing, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Make money and give these players a shot to show their stuff for the NFL.
I thought you were going to say fuck bitches.
No, that's Xavier Howard.
Whoa. Too soon.
Oh, did you read that news?
And I read an update of it, but I haven't read the story.
Yeah, Xavier Howard, star cornerback for Miami Dolphins, apparently sent pictures to a minor, one of the women he was fucking's son.
Oh, what?
Because she wouldn't abort his kid.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
That's like one of those where like it keeps getting worse.
Yep. Like, god damn, that's just such a ridiculous line to cross.
I mean, props on the vengeance tangent, I guess.
But that's gotta have some repercussions.
God, I would hope so. That should have all the repercussions, as a matter of fact.
I mean, if nothing else, like even if it wasn't
no, there is
video of him fucking his mother, he's sending porn to a minor.
Yeah, but like that's more sinister somehow.
Oh, absolutely it is.
Okay, good. I'm glad we're on the same page. The way you phrased that at first, you're like, well, if it wasn't fucking his mom, it'd be okay. Like, I don't know, man.
No, the opposite.
Yeah, all right, good.
Sending any porn to a minor is already fucked.
Hey, I'm glad we're able to have more episodes of the show, Nate. I'm glad you quantified that. Oh man, that is fucking crazy. How did we not lead the news off with that? Like, that's nuts.
Yeah, I just read it today, but it didn't seem like worthy of being added to the notes. But now that I've said it, I probably should.
It didn't seem worthy of being added to the notes, he says.
It's just, goddamn, that's fucked. That's what went through my head when I saw the story. Not, oh, that's an interesting tidbit we can discuss.
Yeah, you weren't like, oh man, this will really make our listeners happy. Oh my god, that's gross. Is what that is. That's super, super fucking gross.
It is.
Oh, ick. Yuck. I can't even. All right. Well, you know what? Let's move along because yuck.
On to attendance and ratings.
All right. Well, here we go. Attendance and ratings. Attendance was not that dude's mom, I guess. I can't get over it. All right. Here we go. Birmingham had 7,133. Trash. Memphis had 6,039. Also trash, but can you really blame them for the fucking Tank Bowl? You know what I mean? Like that game meant nothing.
No, not at all. Birmingham is pretty shocking. I guess
Birmingham
there was a good
at
chance
home.
it didn't matter. The game didn't matter, but
I mean, yeah,
still.
it didn't. It didn't matter at all. Even if they lose, they still got home field. Like the St. Louis one's the only one that mattered. And so DC had 13,000, which is awesome. Again, in a game that didn't matter.
Nice Beer Snake coming through.
And then, Beer Snake coming through. And then, of course, St. Louis crushing 34,000 in attendance.
Nice, which was also up from the last few weeks, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're expecting that over this playoff and championship push that they might be able to get 40,000 in that place.
It would be awesome, especially if they can get it this week.
Well, and it's cool to watch. Like, I mean, obviously, I'm a big Battle Ox fan anyways, but it's just cool to watch at least one of the teams in the UFL just crush the attendance, And shout out to DC. I'm more impressed with that 13,000 in DC because that game meant nothing. Those are true fans. You know what I mean? They showed up, they beer snaked, they had a blast, you know?
Yeah, well, and they've been steady as hell all year.
Yeah. And then here's the ratings. St. Louis, San Antonio averaged 836,000 views. Not bad. And then what were the other ones? Birmingham, 637,000. Memphis, 649,000. And I don't have the other game here. What I do have instead is that compared to all the leagues this week, the UFL was up 31% versus last year's equivalent week 10 of the XFL and USFL.
Nice.
So like overall, it's up 30,000, and then the telecast peaked at night at 1.6 million viewers from 7 to 7:14, and that was the Tank Bowl, which is pretty cool to think that people are still watching that.
That's pretty crazy.
I will not stop calling that the Tank Bowl, by the way.
No. And I looked at the numbers for last week, and I think those were closer to averaging 800 plus, which I think was taking advantage of.
So to put it in perspective, so this is 2003, okay? Or 2023, rather, okay? Yep. Week 10, the USFL average was 438,000. The XFL's average was 562,000. And then the same metric average for us right now is 783,000 average. Which, I mean, that's huge growth.
Yeah. I mean, it's not quite adding both audiences together, but inevitably there was.
Well, and that's why I wanted to break it down, because that 31% is when you add both audiences together, and I didn't feel like that was really fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just kind of interesting to watch that even though half the games didn't matter, they peaked and did really well. I mean, even the viewership, and I think that's just people are hungry for football. And I think, and I told you, I think the attendance and I think some of the viewership, I think it could be even higher if they would have just started this league earlier. I think that the biggest mistake they made was holding off to wait, because it should be done by now. Like, I mean, we have this week is our playoffs, and then we have the championship, and it should just be done. Like, it should be done like a month ago. It should be done by June.
Well, and the Canadian Football League started this week, right?
Yes.
What, like, yeah. Why would you push those two together?
Right, but not only that, but you're also not putting your product in the like Black Friday week, you know, because you have that week after the Super Bowl where there's like what, 2 weeks of just nothing.
Yeah. And
like you could fill that gap. Why aren't you filling that gap? Why not compete with nothing instead of compete with everything? And I don't understand it. I love the UFL, but I think it's something they really need to talk about next year. I think you need to be starting that fucking game the moment the Super Bowl's done.
Yeah. Well, and that would end the season before hockey and NBA playoffs are really getting into the thick of it.
Right. You'd barely be up against March Madness at that point.
Yeah. I haven't seen any stories about discussing when the season was going to start. Oh, it might have been one mentioned from Moose that they wanted to start a little earlier. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they actually start super early, just right after the Super Bowl go.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting thing either way, for sure. But so yeah, that's my news and attendance stuff. We will go rapid fire now, as we've already spent a lot of time on all this. This is great. I'm glad the NFL. I'm glad
distracted.
I'm okay, man, dude. The NFL, like, look, man, it's not called UFL Seasons Football, bro. It's called Four Seasons.
Indeed.
Fucking, I'll fucking, dude. I'll devote an episode to CFL. I don't give a fuck. I'm crazy. What's up? You guys are lucky I'm not talking to you about fucking Caucho Rico. I'll talk some fucking Florence gridiron football. What's up?
Is NFL Europe still around?
God, you know what? I don't know, and I wish I did for this very moment. This is the only time in my life I wish I knew if that were around.
They got cool ass names like the Claymores. That's about the only fact I know about them. All right, should we get into the game recaps?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, so first up, Panthers at Stallions, the first playoff matchup preview.
Yeah, it's weird too. Can we talk about that? How it's weird how two of the games are the same as the playoff games we're going to watch next week.
Yeah, really ridiculous. I'm assuming they couldn't have planned this.
Well, I don't think they didn't know. It's just the schedule, but it's just fucking weird because you only have 4 playoff teams, but we got to watch them play twice in a row. That's really weird.
Yeah. So yeah, Panthers fall short of the Stallions 19-20, but they did cover the +8 spread.
Well, and Jake Bates missed one.
Yeah, the important one.
Missed it terribly, too. He almost missed that second one, but that third one he sent fucking sailing, bro. I hear they're still looking for it.
Yeah. And I mean, what was it? 53 yards? Yeah. Long, but not real long.
He's one of those weird guys where the longer out he is, the more accurate he gets. The closer you get him, the less accurate it gets.
Seemingly so. Well, and also, he was golden, and then he missed 2 in a game. Then he was golden. Then he missed 2 in a game, or what? 2 last week and then 1 this week?
I think that's correct.
So, streaky. Hopefully, he doesn't have the yips going into the playoffs and then NFL training camps.
Well, I mean, if he has the yips, if he has the yips again, there might not be NFL training camps, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think any of the teams that
mid
matter.
70% total.
Well, I think the only team that would really look at him, honestly, is Detroit. Like, they would keep him in Michigan, you know. But like, I don't see anybody. Like, who else really needs a kicker right now? I mean, all the kickers are kind of set right now. I mean, I can't think of, like, I'm saying ones that like where they're actually going to be in some kind of like hunt for like anything, you know.
Well, I mean, the Commanders just signed a no longer kicking in the UFL kicker from the UFL.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
right? So they're not going to sign another one.
But he can absolutely get into a camp and compete.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Also, the Chiefs mentioned that they're trying out kickers just for distance because they don't want Butker tackling people with the new kickoff rules in the NFL.
That's awesome.
So it's possible that teams look for guys that could just kick it like crazy so that they don't have to have their accurate place kicker tackling people.
I mean, that's a good idea.
Yeah, but if you got room on the roster, why not?
Let's see. What else are we with that? Also,
so, yeah,
Edling looked really good after his hand injury
game,
too. Like, that's another thing I wanted to mention about that game.
What was that?
Edling looked pretty good with his coming back from the hand injury. He had that running touchdown. He looked pretty good.
Yeah, well, the Stallions scored early, and then from then till the late in the fourth quarter, it was all Panthers.
Yeah.
They rattled off 16 unanswered, and it wasn't until, 59 seconds left in the game?
They were up by like 10 at one point, weren't they?
Yeah, they took a 10-point lead into half, and then it wasn't until 59 seconds left in the game the Stallions retook the lead, and then even after that, they got in a field goal range.
Absolute fucking dime scoop from Martinez to Sturberger or whatever, dude. That scoop was so pretty.
46 yards,
pretty ass.
And I mean, overall, Panthers D played really well. They had 5 sacks. They limited the Stallions to 223 total yards. They kept Martinez to only 163 passing yards and 41 rushing yards.
It's just crazy to me how the Stallions they always can turn it on when they need to. It's just, it's really like championship teams type shit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, back against the wall, they put up a really good drive and scored that touchdown to take the lead.
Right, and they've done it against the Battlehawks. I mean, they've done it against good teams too. It's not like this is the first time they've done it.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Otherwise, it basically came down to the Panthers settling for field goals twice and then missing the last one. And then as far as players go, Yossi Mariner had a pretty good game. 7 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown for the Panthers. And CJ Marable for the Stallions ended up with 10 carries, 56 yards, and 2 scores.
Yeah, my big thing is Bates missing, Etling's hand, how good Martinez looks, and how he's probably going to win the MVP no matter what, and then just rematch next week, you know, like fucking woohoo.
Yep. And I can't help but feel a little bit like the Stallions held back.
I feel like they did too. I feel like the Stallions have held back against everybody but the Battlehawks.
Yeah. Because they haven't cared for weeks.
Well, they don't it's like, oh shit, we actually have to play, and then they play, you know?
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
Well, and that was the only game where you saw Stallions players losing their composure. It's starting to get a little chippy, was against the Battlehawks. Like, that was the one where it showed they really cared about it.
Right. Well, because that's the only one that was like really up for competition type shit too, probably, you know?
Yeah. All right, moving on to that next playoff preview. Brahmas at Battlehawks. And Battlehawks managed to hold off the Brahmas 12-13 but failed to cover the -2.5 spread.
Motherfuckers.
And this was a defensive slugfest.
Yeah, this was a fun game.
Yeah, well, and I mean, Battlehawks defense was crazy in the first half. They shut out the Brahmas after blocking the field goal with 23 seconds left with a bunch of tight ends in.
Well, and the other thing, like watching Chase Garber go out and then just being like, well, they're fucked, and then just all of a sudden that Darmody guy comes in and just starts killing it. Like it's really interesting. It really, like, if that guy came in and did dog shit, it would make me really angry for next week. But now I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Garbers is the better quarterback overall, but I mean, he didn't get anything done before getting hurt again. And then, yeah, coming out of the half, Dormady, Jontre Kirkland, and Morgan Ellison started getting going. Like we went into the half 0-10. And then Battlehawks got one more field goal, but those three brought it back. So it was 12-13.
Well, and it never felt like it was close. It was weird. That was one of those weird games where it just never felt like it was close, you know?
Those last 2 minutes, I got pretty nervous.
I don't know. I just didn't, I guess. And that super challenge saved our ass. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Because the super challenge, I mean, like, they lose that. And then, like, we have that, like, blocked or tipped field goal. I don't know what we're calling it.
Yeah, I mean, the replay wasn't totally conclusive. It seemed like they got a finger on it. He might have just shanked it.
I know, it's really hard to tell, but it could have gone either way. It didn't really matter.
But the end, like, so they
scored
to make it 12-13 with 2 minutes left.
I know, like
then they forced the 3 and out.
It just never felt like it was that close to me. It just felt like, and I don't know if it's just like, I think I have like AJ McCarron fucking like bias or some shit. You know what I mean? Because I was at the Brahmas game last year where they fucking did this shit. Like they always dick around, and I just like, I'm not like, the Stallions are the only team I'm worried about. They're the only teams I'm worried about stopping that with us. You know what I mean? But like AJ just has this way where he's just like, hey, what if we just do this at the end? You're like, all right, asshole, play the whole game, but whatever.
For the most part, absolutely. But I mean, the only reason we won this game is because the Brahmas missed a 51-yard field goal at the end.
No, we won the game because we super challenged, bro.
But yeah, I mean, they had the shot. They forced the 3 and out. They got into field goal range. They had that 51-yard try and whiffed. And yeah, I mean, both defenses played phenomenal. The Brahmins held the Battlehawks to under 200 total yards, but the Battlehawks forced that extra turnover and blocked that field goal, which were the difference.
I mean, yeah,
and really,
it's all the super challenge. It's just good coaching, bro. We're fine. Shut up.
And then only real offensive standout in the game was Jontre Kirkland with 7 catches for 127 and a score.
Yeah, it was a slugfest, and again, that's another one where it makes me real interested about, like, you know, because it was like you said. I mean, jokes aside, it was a close game. It just didn't feel close to me, but it definitely, both these games, for being how stupid it is that they're playing the same matchups back to back, both matchups this week made it so interesting that it actually makes me more excited about this weekend's matchups.
Yeah.
Like, especially the Panthers. I'll tell you this, the Panthers Stallion game last week, that made me so excited about this one, because even though they lost, they kept it close. They were there, and it tells me that, like, this can still be a game, you know? Whereas, like, I think even though, like, obviously caused the law and all that shit, I think every Battlehawks fan out there knew that, like, the Brahmas and Battlehawks were going to be a game, you know? But, like, the Stallions, it's like, at this point, we're just excited when somebody can just keep it fucking close with them.
Well, I mean, what more could we ask for to have 1-point games in both of the playoff preview games going into this conference championship round?
Right. Nothing. Fucking nothing.
All right, moving on to the truly irrelevant game, Renegades at Defenders.
All right, so here's a fun factoid that I'll give you on this one. I fell asleep watching this.
Nice.
I started watching it, and I just fell the fuck asleep. And there was
I would have expected falling asleep during the next one rather than this one, but you know, when it's earlier game.
There's not much I could do. I watched it, and I was looking for the beer snake, and then I just dozed off, you know?
Yeah.
And when I was doing all the shit to prep before we were doing this episode, I literally was like Nah. So I will say, as far as this entire podcast goes, this game I know nothing about. I'm the most underprepared. I don't care. I didn't see a beer snake. You got nothing to offer me, DC. I'm sorry. I like you guys. I love your beer snake. I love that you guys were there and that people attendance, but it was real boring out of the gates and I fell asleep. I don't know what you want from me. So Nate, go ahead. This is going to be all you, this segment of this game specifically.
All right. So Renegades score last to win 32-31 and cover with their +2. This was kind of a back and forth shootout, and the Renegades managed to overcome their mistakes to win. Like, defenders should have been beat horribly, honestly. Like, I mean, they put up 31 points, but the Renegades were awful in this game. So Perez throws 2 picks after he's never thrown more than 1 in a game in the season. They gave up a 55-yard kick return for a gimme field goal, then an 84-yard kick return for the score. There was another drive later on where they gave up 2 deep defensive pass interference penalties to give the defenders a gimme score. Then Manigo on a kick return, the ball comes rolling down to about the 1 yard line, 1 or 2 yard line. He keeps his feet and his knee in the end zone and grabs the ball, thinking that that's going to make it a touchback. Nope, that's a safety.
Ha 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 ha! God damn it! I wish I would have stayed up for this now.
And that's when they were down 6 in the fourth quarter.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
But they managed to turn it around and they score last for the win.
Oh my God. All right. So you're saying that instead, because I stayed awake for the whole fucking tank bowl and I hated that.
Yep, this would have been the better one to watch.
God damn it. Of course.
But yeah, I mean, well, and the Renegades defense played pretty well. They ran the ball a lot. Had Smith with 20 carries for 94 yards. They stuffed the run against the defenders and kept Tiamo to only 227 total yards. They've kept fucking up, but kept managing to stay on top.
Damn it. Of course, the one time I fall asleep for a game and it's fucking like the only game I should have watched. I hate this.
And then this is ridiculous. So Chris Rowland, the kick returner for the defenders, who is returner of the year for the UFL awards as well. He went apeshit. He had 316 total yards. 274 of those were return yards. The defenders on offense had 263 yards.
Oh my fucking God.
This was kind of a ridiculous game, and I kind of can't believe the Renegades came out on top. But yeah, it was fun.
I'm so mad now. I never thought I'd be mad by missing that game, but here I am mad about it.
Yeah.
Did you see any beer snakes? I looked for a beer snake. I couldn't see it before I dozed off.
Yeah, absolutely. They had like three or four different segments with commentators getting into the stands to talk to the guys building the beer snake. Yeah.
That's still the greatest story ever told in sports, man. They took it away, and then the next night they threw so many lemons on the field that they brought back the fucking beer snake and then banned lemons.
Well, not just that it was lemons, it was like a vodka lemonade that had the lemons.
Right.
So people were buying shitloads.
They were buying a shitload. Like everybody at the stadium was making money. My favorite part of that too, and you can go back and Google all this shit if you want to. I highly recommend it. I think we've talked about it on this podcast before, but it's my favorite moment maybe ever in sports is because they banned this beer snake because what happened is people were getting hit by cups because they were throwing the beer cups at the guy at the bottom of the snake. So they now have an instituted rule where you have to give it to somebody and they'll walk it down. Because like what's cool if you think about it is the stadium was never against the beer snake. They were against people getting pelted in the back of the head with cups. But so they take him away, and then the next game at home is no beer snakes, and they keep buying these fucking like lemonade drinks and throwing lemons onto the field. And there's this point, and it's like one of my favorite moments ever. You can find it on YouTube. It's the funniest shit ever, where they fucking stop the game, and the ref comes out, and he's like, just so you know, we're going to have a delay of game. If you guys don't stop doing this, we will penalize your team. And as he says that, they proceed to throw even more fucking lemons onto the field. It's the greatest moment in sports history, dude. Like, they throw even more lemons at this motherfucker. And then the next week, they're like, lemons are banned. The beer snake's fine, but here's beer snake protocol. They need to like have the defenders just change their name to the DC Beer Snakes, though. Like, I mean, it's legendary, you know. Like, and that was XFL shit, you know. That's like it just like that's the kind of shit you love, you know.
Absolutely, especially for spring football. Do you think the fans really care that much
No.
about getting a penalty or two?
Right. Oh no, please don't penalize my fucking like spring football team, Mr. Badass.
After they've been pounding drinks to either feed the snake or throw lemons. Yeah.
Well, and you know they're not wasting those drinks because they're costing them like $8. Like that's the thing. Every lemon you see is like $8.
Yeah, I mean, stadium's got to be happy about all that.
Fuck yeah. So fucking dumb. All right, let's talk about the Tank Bowl.
Tank Bowl. Memphis leads it wire to wire, 12-19. They cover the spread, and so Memphis will have the first pick next year in the draft.
The most boring thing ever. Like watching.
Yeah, it was like, why did the Showboats defense show up for the first time in the last game of the season in the Tank Bowl?
Because they wanted that pick, bro.
Seems like it.
I will say, though, it is kind of cool that the winner gets the pick. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's kind of awesome. I think that's like one of the coolest things ever. And I think a lot more leagues should have that. Because it makes that game, like, again, and that's probably why I fell asleep to the DC. Because the DC game is the only game this week that legit meant nothing.
Right. Well, and like, unfortunately, I don't think it's in the concrete rules. Because you're never going to know for sure that two teams are going to be the two worst teams in the league that are facing each other in the last week. I think both last year in the USFL and this year, they had the opportunity to change the rule for that game.
Yeah.
But it really should be like, yeah, because you can't just make it the second worst team.
I think it's
always gets
awesome.
first pick.
I think it's awesome. I think you should.
But
I think it should be the second worst team does, because then, and I think you should have, what I think you should do is I think you should have a fucking toilet bowl. I think because you have what, two teams that are, what, four teams that aren't in the playoffs now? Or is it just two? Just two?
Four. Yeah, four in, four out.
Toilet bowl, dude. Whoever wins the toilet bowl gets first pick. If ever we were going to have a live toilet bowl, it has to be spring football.
Well, I mean, spring football, these guys are just trying to get film. Like, they're just trying to show off for the NFL. So why not give them 2 more weeks, even if they're not winning the actual league?
Right. Well, and you're not worried about the money like you are in the NFL. It's not like it's costing you that much money.
And they're not worried about keeping people healthy for next year.
Oh, that's true. All right, we got to get running. We've wasted a lot of time, man. We got to get to picks. We got all kinds of shit. All right.
So last thing to mention on the shit bowl, Reed said it sucks. He was in for one drive, went 1 for 2 for 16 yards and an interception.
Trash.
And then they went, said it sucks.
Hot trash. Okay, so now before we get into everything else, I just want to do a rundown. If we go a little bit longer this episode, I don't give a shit. But so your final standings for the year are your two tops clinching their conferences respectively. Your leader in the XFL conference was, of course, the Battlehawks with 7-3, and your USFL conference champions were the Birmingham Stallions with 9-1. They will be playing the Panthers at 7-3, and the Battlehawks will be playing the Brahmas, who are also 7-3, which is really interesting because if you look at the actual like records and stuff like that, like the Brahmas and Battlehawks win percentage and field points for and against are very, very similar. And so it's going to be real interesting. Well, I should say they're not similar. They're similar, like thing. What?
But the Battlehawks beat the Brahmas both times, right?
Right. But what's really fun and interesting about this is that the Brahmas are 3-2 on the road, and the Battlehawks are 5-0 at home.
Nice.
Which I don't know that can be. Didn't we play the Birmingham Stallions at home and they beat us though? Is that real? That can't be real.
No, we were
there both times?
In Birmingham.
Both times?
We only played them once.
Oh, all right. Well, fuck them then. All right. So yeah, it should be really good going in. And you know, your end of the year, your Roughnecks are 1-9, Showboats are 2-8. Arlington 3-7. Arlington, not even the worst team in the league. Good for Arlington. Arlington, I feel like just at the end of the year, they're like, what if we just won 3 for no reason? All right, cool.
Yeah, even beyond that, they kept having close games. Like, they kept losing, but they were keeping it close with the best teams in the league. Whereas the Showboats got fucking shit stomped.
Well, they also had some of the biggest points against. Like, the teams were, like, beating them against points, you know? So, and then you had the Defenders at 4-6, and that's your league going into that. So now we enter into playoffs, which is pretty fun. I'm excited about this. So first off, why don't we do our picks? We didn't do it last week, but we did both put our picks up online for people to see so that it wasn't weird, you know?
And yeah, so for last week, we did terrible overall. We
Yeah,
both picked the Stallions -8. They won, but it was a 1-point game, so they didn't cover. We both picked the Battlehawks. They won, but they didn't cover the 2.5.
Ugh.
We both picked the Roughnecks. They just lost.
Yeah.
And then we were split on the Renegades and Defenders. So I went 1-3 last week. You went 0-4, which puts us through 10 weeks. I'm at 15-22, and you are at 18-19.
I mean, that's crazy. That's pretty close.
I mean, year one, making picks against the spread,
and who the
especially
fuck
when the
knows-
spread started to catch
Who the
up.
fuck knows what was going to
Uh,
happen? Yeah.
We'll give it time.
All right. So we got two more. Are we gonna? So we're gonna keep doing it for the playoffs, or are we gonna do a whole different thing for the playoffs?
I mean, we may as well keep picking against the spread. The spread's still there.
Well, I'm
unless
just
you get
saying, are we
something
doing
else in
a
mind.
playoff against the spread, or we're just going the whole year total?
Oh, I'm fine either way.
I feel like whole year total since there's only 4 playoff teams.
Yeah,
All right.
3.
Yeah.
So this week, Panthers at Birmingham. Stallions are -5. I'm taking the Stallions there. I think they were holding back last week. I think they blow this one up.
I really want to go with the Panthers because I just feel like that number's high, but I'm with you. I think I got to go Stallions.
I mean, last week was 8, and we both took them.
Yeah.
And that's awfully big. But 5 points,
Still pretty big.
second week in a row. They're at home. Yeah.
Wait, how many am I up on you in picks?
3.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm going Panthers. I think Birmingham wins this game, but I think 5 points is too much. I think it's going to be a lot closer game than people think. And what if, dude,
All
what
right.
if Michigan pulls the upset?
It'd be great. I mean, fuck the Stallions. I would have no problem with them departing early.
I'm going Panthers. I do, for the record, I do think the Stallions are going to win, but I think it's going to be another close game.
All right. And then Brahmas at Battlehawks. Battlehawks are -3 at home.
I mean, that's
Just
home field.
pretty
You
much
gotta
straight.
go Battlehawks, like just at home. But that's another fucking like you know what's cool about both these games? You could convince me one way or the other on either of them.
Yeah, I mean, with the spreads where they are, it really those are well placed spreads, basically.
Oh, also,
I think-
also, it's interesting to add that now, as of last week and this week, all these games are also on Sirius XM now, which I think is kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so like the last week and this week now, and then I assume throughout the rest of it, they all are on Fox Sports on Sirius XM. So if you have XM and you're not at a TV and you want to watch it, they're all on XM, which I think is really cool.
Nice. So yeah, I think either these. I think the Stallions and the Battlehawks are going to win these games, but
What is-
they should
okay.
hopefully be close.
Hear me out
Close
on
and
this.
even.
What is attendance at the fucking Dome at America Center if fucking like the Brahmas and the Panthers win and it's Brahmas Panthers for the championship?
Oof. 28,000.
I feel like the St. Louis fans will still show up in St. Louis gear because they're assholes.
I kind of feel like a lot of those tickets are already sold without knowing who's playing.
Well, no, they already opened. They opened it up again. They're trying to hit the all-time record. They're trying to break their own record
Nice. I mean, yeah.
because
A
they've
lot
yet
of
to
these
they've
spring
yet to
football
sell
fans
they've
are
yet to
spring
sell
football
out
fans.
they've yet to sell out that Domes when all the tickets were available.
What's absolute max? Do you happen to know?
Well, fortunately, we're on the internet and I can look right now. Let me. I'll get that. I'll get that for you. But I mean, it's got to be pretty big. I mean, it's where the fucking Rams used to play. Capacity. What the fuck? Oh. I didn't hit control, so it just said V. So it was like control. It just said V capacity, and then I got all this like weird. So their capacity is 67,000.
All right. That's probably a stretch.
I mean, they got 40. They're getting. I mean, I don't know, man. We'll see. I think it's a stretch if they're not playing for sure.
Right. If the Battlehawks are in it, if they win this week, then there's a shot. If they're not, I can't see it.
Let me click on buy tickets real quick and see what a ticket is going for. I mean, dude, 2 tickets to that game are anywhere between $17 and $110.
Wow. $17 tickets to the championship?
Well, and you can get, dude, 50-yard, like lower deck, almost on the hash, $110.
What's a flight? 400?
I mean, shit, what's a train ticket, bro?
Will it get there by then?
Yeah, you can take a like fucking express train.
I can't.
Dude, most of the tickets that are for sale are $17. That's crazy.
Well, hopefully we see it. 60 grand. Let's go.
That's for 2 tickets. Sorry, my bad. Let me go 1 ticket. Yeah, okay, it is 7. Okay, it is 17 a ticket. It just didn't add it. Got it. Like, let me grab. Okay, so section 114. Let's go right here. Here. Yeah, 2 tickets, 4 rows up at the 50-yard hash line of home side, $220
Nice.
for the championship.
So yeah, St. Louis, get on it. Let's see that place packed.
Dude, a game for this week's game is anywhere between 13 to 182. It's more money to go to the game now than the championship game.
I'm assuming that's got to be because there's so many already filled. Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Well, yeah, there you go. All right. So, yeah, hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully it's Stallions Battlehawks. I feel like that's the championship everybody wants to see.
Definitely.
All right. Well, then we just have your fantasy picks. And I think we're
all right. So, yeah, fantasy week 10. I managed to get 5th out of 118 to win 4 times my buy-in.
That's nice.
And budget options are looking thin this week because it's playoffs. There's only the 4 teams there. But Ricky Person Jr. is only 7,300. He's returning to the lineup. Morgan Ellison for the Brahmas. McFarland and Lovett are still out. He's at 7,200. And then for pass catchers, Sternberger is at 6,500. And I mean, his targets returned to earth last week, but he's always a threat for a long score. And the other is Justin Smith at 5,200. He got 7 targets last week, even though he only caught 1 of them.
Crazy.
But that's it for this week.
Well, there you go. And then I also want to announce, we'll talk about it more as it gets closer, but I want to start a fantasy football league for the NFL for the podcast. I also do my Twitch show, but I'm going to incorporate that in. So we will have we'll figure out, because I know you have your what? Nephew, cousin? I don't know what the fuck. Uncle? I don't know what the fuck that guy is that watches.
Your brother-in-law.
There you go. Your brother-in-law, my buddy Alex. There's like 3 or 4 players I know that like would be down to do it. So I think we should all incorporate that and we'll get that going. I think we should also do a pick'em league for this year as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking about that. It's going to be a little weird when we're announcing our picks, but also picking, but we can figure that out.
I mean, that's just kind of the like... I mean, I don't know. We don't even have to announce our picks if we have them. Like, if we're in a league where we're putting them in, we don't have to.
If they're going to be documented anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll do this. How about we do this? We'll do, I mean, obviously we have tons of time to brainstorm, but we'll do like 2 games a week that we predict. And then we'll put in the rest
or
of our
pick
picks.
a few. I'm for it.
Yeah. Give people a little thing to get their beaks wet, as it were. It's one of my favorite nomenclatures. It's not used enough. Get my beak wet. All right. Well, anything else you want to tell the listeners?
That is all. Just enjoy some playoff football this week, huh?
Fuck yeah, dude. Some playoff UFL. Hopefully we get the Battlehawks Stallions. I feel like that's what we all want. You guys have been awesome. Thanks for listening. Oh, you know what we forgot to do? The mailbag. Hold on. I don't know that there'll be any mail. And if there is, I guarantee you it'll just be somebody bitching about how we missed an episode, because that's all the mailbag ever fucking is. Yep. Dwight. Why aren't you on? I need my episode. Whatever. Fuck you, Dwight. All right. And then also, yeah, if you wanna watch these other than where you're watching them, obviously you can go to Spotify, iTunes. It's basically wherever you can catch pod, or you can go to FourseasonsFootball.life, or on Twitter you can go to FourseFootball. All the stuff is there. Nate will put our picks and our records in momentarily. You guys have been awesome. Enjoy a week of playoff football, and we'll see you next week. Anything else, Nate? Good enough.